Negotiating with Jesus. I'm Tom. We're going to read Mark chapter 4, verse 26, the parable of the growing seed. Jesus is teaching, and Jesus, as he teaches, reveals small truths that you are in some way do what's obvious. Agree with them. Think about it, listen carefully, and see if you don't agree. And all the people around Jesus were always amazed, and they said, he just said something that struck me to my core, and I don't even understand how this guy's doing this. So Jesus amazed people. The parable of the growing seed, he also said, this is what the kingdom of God is like. A man scatters seeds on the ground. Common little picture, an image. A man scatters seeds on the ground night and day, whether he sleeps or gets up. The seed sprouts and grows, though he does not know how. There's a little thing we're going to have to discuss. All by itself, the seed produces grain. First the stalk, then the head, then the full kernel in the head. As soon as the grain is ripe, he puts the sickle to it, because the harvest has come. So there's a story of things working themselves out in what we'd call a natural way. It just naturally works. Now we're in a time when nature is said to be understood by us. So we would look at this and say, well, they were very naive then. They didn't have the knowledge we have, because night and day, whether I sleep or get up, the seed sprouts and grows, but we all now understand. Now we understand why. It's because the natural processes are functioning. And before we didn't say the natural processes are functioning, we just implied that the natural process functioned without our awareness, without our direction. It just happened. Now we understand that without our awareness or without our instruction, it just happens. But we've looked at it more closely. So it's the scientific method, peeling back layers and describing a little more minutely in detail the event of a seed growing. We peel it back and we say, well, here I see that something is sprouting out. It's like little legs growing, little roots are growing. Life is forming. And we peel it back and we say, oh, I can see. We describe, so the scientific method is a means of describing in greater and greater detail these things that are happening. They're still exactly the same thing. The seed sprouts and grows, though we do not know how. We've described more and more, but every layer that we peel back, another layer is revealed. And we keep peeling back and describing more and more. And the implication is that we'll eventually get to the last layer, and all knowledge will be ours. We've described it all the way to the bottom. And unfortunately for us, fools that we are, we don't see the obvious notion that there's no bottom. We're going to keep peeling until the end of time, and it seems like there will still be infinity to peel back. And it's the strange thing, we're trapped between infinities, the unimaginably small, as we peel back and find more minute descriptions, to the point where we now understand that seeds have some kind of interaction that is, I have to pause the video or something. What is it called? Yeah, it's quantum. There's quantum interactions now in a seed in photosynthesis. Photosynthesis has some kind of quantum mechanical properties, and quantum properties are the properties that are so weird we don't understand exactly what's going on. So magical things kind of happen. So photosynthesis, the thing that we understand, now that we look at it again, we're not quite as quick to say that we understand, We understand it, but we don't understand. These things happen. So that was a little too much explanation for a seed growing. The point of Jesus' story here is that when the harvest comes, all this work is done and we're sleeping. It goes on without us. It doesn't matter about our input or knowledge. Whatever our input or knowledge, God is working out an enchanted world right before our eyes. We get to harvest, we get to claim credit, but it all happens whether we're awake or asleep. If we die, someone else harvests, and our work is kind of not our own. It's a strange world. So I'm going to, until then, negotiating with Jesus, like and subscribe, write down some comments. If it's too dumb, if I'm talking too much, whatever it is, whatever you think, write it below and I'll argue with you. I'll have some kind of argument and I'll tell you why a simple view is best. I think that is going to be my modus operandi. So, like and subscribe, notification bell, click, click, click.